Hey guys, what's up? This is your boy Evan. Welcome to the Cartoon Block. Today I am sitting with a very special guest. He's a author, illustrator of his very own graphic novel, Jason Brubaker. Jason, thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure.
So can you tell us all about your graphic novel, Remind, and how it all started, and take us back to the beginning,
Well, it started probably in '98.
98.
Actually, I was doing storyboards at the time, and I wanted to learn how to animate, and so I started animating a little short film about a cat with a robot suit. And years later, 7 years later to be specific, I had about 15 minutes of animation that was finished, and I kept redoing a lot of it, so I realized this would take me the rest of my life to finish it the way I wanted it, because I kept redoing it. And I was pitching it a little bit around town, and I pitched it to a producer who suggested that I just don't worry about the animation, just do it as a book, a graphic novel, because then I can finish the story, and then I can pitch it as a story, or even potentially studios might come to me after it's all done. So I decided I just have to stop the animation and start doing this as a graphic novel. And so on the weekends, and this is before I had kids, so on the weekends and free time, and I was doing freelance work, I just started working on this thing, and so I really started focusing on the style I wanted, and I was going to approach it in black and white so I could get it done in time, and completely rewrote the story at that time. I eventually got a job at DreamWorks then, and so at that point I started questioning, like, should I keep doing this? This kind of got me in the door at DreamWorks in a way, because I had it in my portfolio, but I was just like, can I do this while I'm working a full-time job? And so as a last minute, like a decision just kind of like to test it out, I started putting it online. I started posting a spread every week on Mondays, and I looked into a lot of webcomics to see their strategies for getting an audience, and submitted it to some sites, and looked into bloggers, how they get traffic, and so I started writing blog articles on how I'm doing this. And it just slowly grew. I had like 20 people a day, and I was just like, man, I've gone through the whole first chapter and I have like 40 visitors a day now. Like, is this after 3 years of working on it, So it was really like, I was really starting to question like how, where this would go, But then eventually it started building and building, and I got some people talking about it, and emailed some other webcomic artists that were really popular, and they started recommending it. So it just started growing, and then at that point I was like, okay, this is a huge motivation now to keep making this thing go, because people are commenting on it, and people I don't know, and like eventually there was about 1,000 people a day that were coming to it. And so I was like, should I self-publish? Should I publish? How should I do this? And I'm blogging about what I should do, and I was like, I'm going to apply for the Zero grant, which was, at the time, it was a self-publisher's comic grant.
Okay.
So I applied for that, and I won $5,000. And so that was kind of my sign saying, you need to self-publish, because if I don't self-publish, I lose that money, first of all. So, and it gave me a year to get it done. I had to have it printed and sent to them within a year. So I was like, okay, it's on. And then at the same time, people started suggesting in the comments, you should try Kickstarter. And no one had heard of it at that time. It was just brand new. I mean, it was probably 3 months old, I think, maybe more. And I was like, I don't know, I don't really want to risk that much time if it doesn't fund, and I don't know if putting it out there, and if no one backs it, then I'll feel like an idiot. So I was skeptical, but after I got the funding from the Zero grant, it kind of gave me this confidence, and so I immediately put together a little presentation. I launched it, and sure enough, in 2 days I hit my goal. 2 days. And it was like $3,000 to get the bare minimum of what I needed.
That's awesome.
And so I said, if I can get this much more, I can do the cloth cover. Sure enough, it hit that. And it was a huge thing at the time. I mean, it was like $12,000, and at the time it broke a lot of records for Kickstarter. Man. So it's really difficult to see who's interested in actually buying something. But this just showed me that there's a huge % of my audience that's interested in purchasing it. So that motivated me even more. I'm like, okay, I got the grant. I have funding. Now I need to just get this thing done and get it done.
Okay.
And so that helped me refine what the finished product would be. I printed it, 2,500 copies of it, the first printing. And then in about 8 months, it sold out. So it got to the point where all I was doing at night after work was fulfilling orders. And I wasn't able to work on the second book at all. And so I had to put my blog posts on hiatus for like a whole year. It was almost a whole year.
Oh, wow.
Because I was just fulfilling orders and doing all the busy work behind the scenes of selling this book. And so I just let it go out of print. And once it was out of print, I just kind of turned off the internet, and I would get up at 5 and I would come in and work on it every morning before work.
Wow.
And I just did that for probably 4 or 5 months and just jammed through a whole bunch of it. And I eventually started getting it back online, like updating online volume 2. So I was real nervous about it, and I was like, okay, well, now I need to fund 2 books when I do a Kickstarter, because I need to reprint the first volume if I'm going to print the second one. And so I really put some time into this new video, and Kickstarter had grown a lot by that time. And I had about 1,000 visitors on a update day again, same as I had before. So I was like, man, I don't know if I can get that money. And I was able to make 107,000, which broke again. It broke records at the time.
You know,
until the next month.
You asked for 24 and got 100.
Yeah, 100.
Everybody can't do that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, and now I had to print out 6,000 books, and about 2,000 of them I had to send out, which is what all this is about. So with the second Kickstarter, it was so huge. I had about 2,000 books to send out. And it was a daunting task after work to think about it. And so I actually, fans suggested I have packing parties, and I had 3 packing parties on Saturdays, and a ton of people came and just helped me pack all day long from 9, 10 in the morning to 6 at night. And just did everything I needed to do, and I was sitting there drawing in all the books, like, as fast as I could, and they were just pulling them away from me as soon as I was done, stacking up more for me to draw in. And so that was a huge help. And then I had another great helper, this guy named Edmund, who came for about a month straight every evening and helped me pack special orders. So it was just amazing, the fan support from Kickstarter. But they're finally done. I'm just now wrapping up the last of the orders.
Jason, that's an awesome story. Okay, you don't hear that kind of story every day, So if our audience wants to follow you online, where should they go?
Well, first there's my website, remindblog.com, and then a YouTube channel where I'll be posting a lot of more how-to videos and progress of my next book, Brubaker Motion.
Okay, great then. Jason, thanks for having us then.
Thanks.
Until next time, guys, deuces.